So, anything you want to tell me about this game before I start?
Not really.
Alright, there are a couple of odd things here. You're playing Orphea.
Yes.
You've been outsoaked by both Artanis and Falstad, which is fairly normal if we're offlaning. But you've been outdamaged by the Stitches.
Yes, I know.
And Stitches needs to brawl a lot for that to happen. Which means that in some way, I see that you have the Headhunter achievement, you were probably wasting a lot of your time doing stuff that didn't actually lead to the win. Looking at talents, you went the Backbiter, Mind Devourer, Miasma build.
Yeah.
With Final Takata, which is a little bit of an odd choice, especially in this build. Why did you pick Backbiter this game?
Because Hanzo is scary because he can do a lot of damage to me, and also Asmodon the same. And I can't really reach Hanzo, and also Varian taunt. If he taunts me, it's scary. And in general, I think their team is very scary for me.
Okay, because I think Hanzo and Asmodon are probably some of the lowest burst heroes that you should be worrying about.
The thing is, I can't really reach any of them. Maybe Asmodon, but if Varian taunts me and Asmodon presses his Q and Hanzo presses Q and auto attack, I lose a lot of my HP.
Well, Asmodon is going run it down build, and you would have seen that if you check the talents, because he went both greed and well, mainly that he went greed. He actually went the wrong level 4 for this build, but from the rest of this build, you can see that he went full E build with Demonic Invasion, which means that he isn't actually doing all that much damage at all. It is Cursed Hollow, so Hanzo is going to get a lot of big scatters at some points in the game, but that's not actually going to 100 to 0 you. I don't think Backbiter is required this game. And in fact, I would be worried about the Asmodon running it down, where Q4 makes it really free to punish him for that, while Backbiter is a little bit harder. That's my initial impression. Yeah. Aside from that, you're up against Rhaegar. You have an Anduin, so if you get taunted badly, Anduin might bail you out. Obviously,
I also want usually to pick Backbiter because if the hacker burrows and I'm close to him, he can get close to me very fast, and
well,
it's hard to hit Q on the hacker with move speed, and I have a chance to Backbiter away from him before he can tank me.
Yeah, but you have a better chance of just walking away as soon as you hear the burrow noise.
Still move speed though, but yeah.
Yeah, sure, but
I mean, I don't think
the Hawk is going to be that scary this game, and if he is, then I think he could have played around it. So looking at
Backbiter ever bad choice.
So looking at the soak, you are red team. So your team is actually ahead in soak for most of the game, but quite a few waves were still missed, and you have relatively low XP for an Orphea, especially considering their Hanzo, who has no wave clear, out-soaked you. Did you pay a lot of attention to waves this game? Because it is Cursed Hollow.
I think I did. But
you think you did, okay.
I think I also paid a lot of attention to the camps.
Okay. Now, the thing about the camps, especially on this map, is they just taking the camps doesn't actually do anything. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You have to do something with those camps. And I'm gonna guess not a lot of that happened. You were ahead for most of the game until like 14 minutes. You were ahead in XP. And timeline.
We still lost most of the team fights, if I remember correctly.
We can definitely look at those. And I just want to look at structures destroyed. Fish, was this red lost a fort or took a fort? Tower?
I'm pretty sure
Took. So you actually, against Run It Down Aspan, you actually had more structure pressure on them than they had on you for quite a lot of the game. Like, they basically took nothing until 14 minutes in the game, where they started ending. So this game, overall, the trend was pretty good for you. You did have some deaths, like look at Red Heroes Alive, you lost some heroes around 4 minutes, a little bit of stagger there. But so did Blue Team, they lost 2 heroes 2 times in a row. And it did seem pretty okay until you got wiped at 14 minutes, right? You can see that only 1 hero was alive at that point. Now, we're going to look at what you could have done in the fights, but I'm especially going to look at, because that's what you asked, what you could have done on the map.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Swap to HOTS. Let me know if anything goes bonkers. And just for clarity's sake, I haven't coached in a while, so it's going to be a little rusty for me. So, Orphea, this game, looking at their draft, what is scary in their draft? What are you afraid of?
I think like them just CCing me. And like also a poke from Hanzo.
Mm-hmm.
And like the hacker going onto me, like that's it, I think.
So those are all things that are scary in fights, right? But the game is not just about fights. You shouldn't just think about what is a threat to you in the team fight, but also what is a threat on the macro level. What is Asmodan going to be doing this game? In Storm League, the vast majority of the time, it's going to be a run and down Asmo. So what is he going to try to do? He's going to suicide into buildings. And you can take advantage of that, especially as a hero like Orphea, who, if he's at your tower, you can kill him before he gets to his tower.
Yeah.
Also, if Rhaegar is any form of aggressive, you can punish him quite heavily as well. Because if Rhaegar is slowed by Ancestral Strength, his Z will only barely give him a movement speed advantage, and you'll be able to put quite a lot of damage into him, especially if you
and
put
also
your E on him.
he kinda needs to walk close to me to get his E, to place his E.
And to put and to use his traits.
Yeah.
So, first minute.
5, 4, 2, 1.
How do you position? You position behind your team, which is fine. Tannis looks for a swap, fails, whatever. Volstad is... Yikes. But whatever, doesn't matter. So, Stitches actually gets a hook out. What happens off that? So hook on the Varian, who is very squishy, and you weren't prepared for it. Right? You were sitting next to the Stitches, but you only throw out E, you don't throw out Q or W. Which means that you weren't prepared for the Stitches to do anything.
Yeah.
You could have dashed forward with your Q to put a little bit more damage on the Varian. You could have gone on someone else because people step up when someone else gets hooked.
Usually, yeah, like whenever like I play Orphea and I see someone, like if we don't have a lot of CC, usually when I see someone get caught like this, like get hooked or something, I usually try to go for the enemy DPS that are usually gonna step up to help the target.
But in this
it's easier
case,
to kill.
The person that got hooked is a pre-level 4 Varian.
Yeah,
and Rhaegar has a hard time healing up a single person. So if you pump a lot of damage into the Varian, he's gonna take a lot of damage. But other than that, there was one other thing that I saw. And that is you dash instantly here. Why? The Haka already used his tongue. You would have seen that. There's no reason for you to dash here.
I don't think there's usually really a reason to hold your dash like most of the times. I know like...
I completely disagree. You should always hold your dash unless there is a reason. And why is that? In this game, if Rhaegar bites you, if Varian tries to taunt you, or if Asmodan puts a Q on you, or if the Haka tries to tongue you, you dodge or pull along all of those heroes with an instant dash, no delay whatsoever. The more you can hold dashes, the more responsive you can be to what the enemies do on the map. And it is really important that if you are trying to mechanically outplay your enemy, that you always use your dash responsibly.
I hate those because you have to hold the dash, you need to just stay AFK, and and also some you want to Q and then AA but not dash, and sometimes if a target is one range away from your Q, you're gonna dash into the enemy, and that's...
You have a H button, you have an S button, you can right click something else. There are many things you can do to do that. But let's say that you did not dash here. What would that have enabled you to do? And I know this is a very little thing, but it's going to be a trend throughout this game. I've got the feeling. So if you don't dash here, you get your W out on the Dahaka, maybe, or Rhaegar steps up like this, you get a free W and Q off on Rhaegar, because now you're out of follow-up range for everything, because you already dashed out.
Yeah.
You weren't
stacked for my abilities.
If you got an auto attack off on Rhaegar, he would have a hard time getting out because he just used his Z to go in. Or maybe they wouldn't go in at all, and Stitches saves a lot of health. Your positioning as a hero influences how the enemy feels comfortable stepping up as well. Taking that into account, especially on a hero that can have instant mobility with a dash, is very important. Because now you're just lightly poking at the side. Also, this Q here on the Varian. You dash instantly again, which makes you predictable, but you go out of range so you can't auto attack, right? So you step back up, now without a Q. You're a little bit out of position, but there's no follow-up threat from the enemy whatsoever, but you auto attack the Varian. Why?
Probably just A-clicked and shit.
But there's a juicy Rhaegar here.
Yeah.
Varian just parries it anyway. So there's a lot of subtle things already going on. And we haven't even looked at the minimap yet, because we need to get to waves. Any pings in this game so far? I haven't seen any. If your team isn't going to these waves at this point in the game, where you're already going to be semi-late, just ping help here, ping help here. There is no cost to doing so. right? Free action. Maybe Artanis and Falstad will see it, or maybe you'll have to go to one of our sides. But this ARAM ends, and people go to lanes. Falstad's going to bottom, and Artanis is sticking around. If you had pinged top, maybe he would be going to top right now, but now Asmodan has a demon here, and this is going to be slightly pushing in. Again, because you keep dashing backwards instantly, you're never actually able to use your W at all here, while there is 0 threat on you from the enemy team. And because you exert so little threat, Stitches actually dies. I would argue you are responsible for the Stitches' death. There's a nice swap, but again, you were so far up because you never had a dash available to respond to anything that you weren't able to go onto the Dahaka. Again, saving the dash is very, very important. Anyway, top is not being caught. You, as Orphea, could have gone to that 20 seconds ago, or pinged for Artanis to go there. You've done neither, but Artanis is on his way because Anduin pings him. That could have been you. Now, you go to the siege camp. They have, wow, 3 people on the siege camp. We're actually just gonna miss bot. 2 people on the siege camp. They equally suck. But looking back at Orphea, congratulations, this is your burst to the siege camp, and now it's going to take you forever.
I need a second E to kill. Wait.
It's going to take you absolutely forever. All of these siege giants are at 60 to 70% health, and a freaking minion plus Rhaegar are doing it faster than you.
You could also argue that
my point is that you and Falstad should be swapped around. Falstad does a lot more damage to this camp. There's also a second thing you should be thinking about. The tribute is here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if they want to deal with this camp while tribute is going on, they would have to split their team. The Haka would have to go here, drag the camp in, smack the other camp, waste a lot of his time, and give you a lot of free pressure here. However, if you take the siege camp now, there is very little opportunity cost for them to respond to it.
So, should if I just go to Bruisers if I, like...
I think Bruisers first is the better play here. This doesn't matter too much, by the way. This isn't going to make or break the game. But I think, at the very least, you should have tried to get Falstad to swap with you. And I know Falstad's going to be like, but I want to stack Dishonorable Discharge. But it doesn't matter for him. He didn't even stack it on Hanzo anyway. If he doesn't respond, then you just go to the camp anyway. Or you can help pressure up this lane and just leave the camp be. Not taking the camp is also okay. It's not the end of the world if you don't take the camp, if you get something else for it. If you, for example, are able to zone the Hanzo out of soak, or are able to kill him with the Falstad. If you hide here, I'm very certain that you would be able to get a chance to get a pick on Hanzo instead. Or you can try to convince your Falstad to fly in here and invade this camp. There are a lot of other things you can do, and you're picking the standard option, but that is the option your hero is worst at. Because their camp is already here, and you just finished it up. And it was a minion taking this camp, along with Rhaegar. And for anyone not in the know, Varian is the minion, because he's not level 4. So you go to the Bruiser and the same thing's gonna happen.
Finally went right. Wanna help me before it's too late?
Anduin comes and helps you. A little bit late, but he does eventually do it. And you've done your burst to the camp. And now you're going to be sad forever. If you were swapped with Stitches, Stitches would be doing this camp faster than you. If you were swapped with the Falstad, you would be able to pressure in these Siege Giants more effectively than Falstad. And Falstad will be able to do this camp faster than you. I would not recommend swapping with Artanis, as you would not be able to deal with Siege Giants. These are all the things you can be thinking about instead of just doing the stock standard do camp thing. Right? Especially because they're also on the camp. And look, Minion plus Rhaegar have taken the camp. And how far along are you? Not even halfway. Now Stitches is going to get ambushed by the Rhaegar, maybe. Because Rhaegar's going to go onto the map. Or maybe Falstad, one of the two. Yeah, Stitch just loses a bunch of health to this. And that is because this took so long. Resetting here is okay. Like, it's nice being at full health for the tribute, but look what you're giving up on the map in the meantime. The opportunity cost of this recall is really high because you were so late on taking the camp. Artanis was able to clean up the Siege Giant with basically no damage to his tower, so that's really good. And the bottom Siege Giant, because it was just the Hanzo defending it, also actually went really well. Never mind Varian came, because Varian got there from base, false, that's gonna die. Okay. Anyway, now, you see that Hanzo dies, you see that Falstad dies. You're gonna miss a lane of soak here. Are you okay with that? This is going honestly fine. Do you think that you will make more contribution here than soaking an extra lane here and then rotating to objective? Do you think you might get caught in this rotation? If you look at the situation now, what do you think?
I wouldn't go bottom. Like, I don't know. I think
Why?
it's still scary.
Why?
Because, like, there is a camp still bottom, so it's gonna, like, eat some time from Varian. And, like, I can get caught on rotation, and
By who?
then also I can be late to the objective.
By who are you going to get
And
caught in
also,
rotation?
Want to clear the middle camp.
You don't just want to think, I can get caught in rotation. You want to think, who can catch me in rotation? Who is missing off the map? The Haka and Rhaegar are missing off the map. Where do you think the Haka and Rhaegar are? Where did you last see them?
The Haka should be top, probably.
The Haka literally just showed top. Rhaegar literally just showed mid.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that.
Is a Rhaegar going to kill an Orphea in rotation with a Varian?
No. No.
So is this rotation actually unsafe?
No.
Okay. That is the base minimum you need to know to make an informed decision on where you go. Now, you can actually make the decision. Is this worth more than helping clean up this? What do you think?
I think Stitches and Anduin will, like, take way too long to clear the camp, the bruisers.
Okay.
Especially if someone will try to not let them do that.
But you come here, and we've made that analysis now, that cleaning this up is going to take too long for Stitches and Anduin. And therefore you are not going bot. So what do you do when you get mid?
Gather tribute, and then
You try to damage the Asmodan. You are not doing what you came here for.
I tried to like zone him. With, like,
What does
the-
zoning
like,
him
my-
do?
I guess nothing.
Exactly. Be critical of your time and be critical of what you're doing. Because right now, you aren't doing anything. Your time would have been better spent getting this and rotating back up the top. You would have made that. This is from here to here is about like 12-second rotation. Clearing this for Orphea takes 2 seconds. Rotating here takes about 15 to 16 seconds. Maybe you brawl with Varian and interrupt his rotation in the meantime. Also still a net win. However, missing your Q on the Asmodan and getting him to lose 10% health does absolutely nothing. And Stitches cleaned this up without you as a result. Fosfat's going top, he's not using his global. And here we see another big mistake. Again, the same thing applies. What is the best use of your time? What do you want to do? You go to rotate to tribute. Good thing. However, you see Asmodan's here. So you go to hit Asmodan. What does hitting Asmodan do? Really little. However, there is the big thing, which is the wave. This push becomes threatening as soon as there are no minions. If you just EW the wave, you clean up the entire wave, Asmodan has to sit here and handle that for quite a long time. However, you pump all of your damage into the Asmodan, and now you and Stitches are still here cleaning up the wave. Either you're going to miss the wave, or you're going to stay here for another 6 to 8 seconds just hitting minions. And it turns out you stay for so long that Varian rotates in from bottom all the way here and gets to the objective. You could have had a massive positional advantage on this objective if you were here 8 seconds earlier. Agree?
Yeah.
Instead, your entire team is split because you didn't hit the minions. The prerequisite for moving away from a lane is clearing the lane. Why is Orphea good? Because she is good in teamfights and because she has good wave clear. You haven't abused that this game. If you want to rotate to a teamfight, you want to abuse your EW instantly clearing a wave. That is part of why you pick for level 1, and that is why Orphea is always a strong pick in Storm League. Who is going to be rotating here and who are you going to catch? Quick recap. You just damaged Asmodan, so he's going to be either cleaning this up, arfing, or rotating safely. You saw Varian here, and you see him rotating here. So you know the only person that's going to be here is Varian, and maybe your team is trapping you from this bush. However, Hanzo and Rhaegar are doing other stuff. They could have trapped you here, that would have been very bad.
I mean, I saw Varian and Hanzo and Varian wouldn't kill me with Stitches, so I could do it too.
So, what does hitting this Varian do? Is Varian friend? Did hitting him actually matter?
Not really.
Not really. If you were here, you would have wrapped around, hit Hanzo, hit Rhaegar. Would that have mattered more?
Yes.
Yes. Trapping on a tank to poke the tank by 30% of his hit points does nothing. Now that you've used all your cooldowns, can you peel off the Rhaegar for Stitches? Can you use your spells to kill the totem for Stitches? No. The answer is no. Are you auto-attacking this so Stitches can walk out this way? No. He has slow immunity anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Stitches rotates this way, and you rotate this way, So Sidious takes a lot of free damage because if you were here, you would have had a lot of help from you. Your positioning in this team fight so far has really been atrocious. You've done absolutely nothing except waste your time so far. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So again, more auto attacks on the Varian who is parrying, wasting your chaos. And this E is very nice because it zones off the Rhaegar. However, what do you do with that? You retreat. What are you retreating from?
I missed my Q. I don't want to go into them.
So what is going to threaten you here? After missing your Q? Rhaegar's back. Hanzo's all the way back fuck here. Asmodan doesn't have a Q. He just used it. He doesn't have an E. He just used it. He is doing absolutely nothing.
The Haka could have tanked me if he had a tank, but I...
The Haka has a tongue, and what's going to happen off of a tongue?
I can almost die, probably, if he catches me way too...
At this point?
It's a question? Or...
Yes.
You
You see that Asmodan used everything. You see that Rhaegar is retreating, zoned off. You see all of that, and you can hide here behind your stitches from a tongue. But you retreat all the way back here. If you were able to auto attack the Haka from behind your stitches, you would be a lot more threatening in this team fight. You would have had a slow on him. Falstad would have dealt a lot more damage to him and not felt as threatened to where he backs off this far. You're giving the enemy free positioning here. Because you're scared of nothing. You've got your Q back and you still don't step up. Instead, Falstad says, hey, we're on the same talent here. So you see, oh, we're almost at 7. And then you completely back off from the team fight. To go Soka Wave. Do
I'm
you
not sure
indicate
if
this to
I
your
can.
team?
No.
Do you tell your team to retreat?
No.
Do you ping on your way to the wave?
No.
Do you expect Storm League teammates to notice that you're missing?
No.
Glad we're on the same page. So let's recap your contribution to the team fight so far. You've poked a Varian. Poked a Varian. Poked a Varian. And you've gone to mid lane. Do you see that you have done absolutely nothing so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not contributing to a team fight, you might as well not be there. Right?
Yeah.
Now, why are you not contributing to this team fight? Have you seen that from the replay?
I guess I wasn't like. First of all, I should have come faster, and then I wasn't aggressive enough.
So, you weren't able to get a good position to use your hero's abilities because you didn't clear the wave. Then, you tried to trap a tank who does not care about being trapped, and you weren't able to meaningfully damage him. As you can see right now, he is still at very high health. Then, you play too scared to hit anyone of importance. Because you respect the enemy too much, with their cooldowns down, you're not aware that the Asmodan has used his Q, used his E, that Stitches can protect you, and that Anduin can pull people. Gas it up. So you play really, really safe when there's no reason to be safe, and you step up when stepping up does nothing against the variant. Then you leave to get 7. Which is okay, but if you're not able to get anything done in this team fight, like honestly, the team is completely fine without you. Imagine if you just had gone here, soaked this, gone here, soaked this. The exact same would have happened in a team fight.
Talent?
I thought like since they are still want to like fight for this, if I after I get 7 I can get a nice amount of stacks for my E.
Sure.
If I will go back to the fight.
I meant if you double soaked instead of showing up to a team fight in the first place, by the way. You would have actually had so much more impact on the game because your team would have had 7 and you weren't in the team fight anyway. Now, their team is very far up. Their pools are very shit. The Haka, the Rhaegar is almost out of mana. The Varian is almost out of mana and at half health. The Dahaka probably already used his essence, as you can see in his health bar. So, you Q first instead of E. You have Chaos, you can slow someone, you can go onto this Hanzo right now.
Yeah, I should have went for either for Hanzo or
You
like,
Q on someone in a position to retreat.
yeah.
Instead of just
Yes.
Eing this entire clump and queuing on the clump.
I should have killed like Hanzo because I think he can't really see me.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Use your talent.
I see
Still
why you
he's
do
like in
this.
backline and he will be like the less.
I see why you
like-
do this, and it's because you look at this and you see that Rhaegar went in, right?
Yeah.
But it takes you another full second to get in range. And you still think they went in. But it's the second later. They can already start going out because Rhaegar is no longer jumping forward with his wolf.
They also tongued the target and they're just like following the tongue
Yeah.
back.
But you always dread first. You should know that.
Yeah, I know. I think it was
Then-
like almost on cooldown at that.
Then, even worse, when you dread, you haven't even auto-attacked yet.
Yeah.
So you get 2 chaos
I lost to chaos, basically from
while
that.
at full chaos. Then you auto-attack the Dahaka instead of the Rhaegar. Dahaka cares a lot less about damage than Rhaegar. And you end up missing Q. Where Dahaka dies, but not because of you. If you ultimately look at your contribution in this team fight, you poked Varian a bunch, you went to mid, you came back, and you missed all your spells. Wow. You slowed everyone by 25%. I guess that's okay. So, what have you ultimately done in this team fight?
Nothing almost.
Absolutely nothing. Exactly. Now, I've tried to explain how it got to the point that you did absolutely nothing this team fight, but I would like you to tell me, in your own words, why you think nothing happened from you in this team fight.
I mean, as I said, like I should have been earlier and I should have been more aggressive.
Not I should have been, but what did you do wrong?
Like I was
What?
first of all missing
What
a lot
are
of
the thought
AAs
processes? What do you want to think about next time that will prevent this from happening? Let me put it that way. What are the things you need to watch out for as Orphea in the team fight? Some concrete things, such as hit a target that cares about being hit,
Yeah.
such as take a position that allows you to be aggressive, that allows you to use spells in the future. Being here makes it so that you have to retreat here. So this is a bad position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Retreating from here to here makes it so that if they step up here, you cannot interact with the enemy team, right? These are all the things you need to be thinking about. Where can I stand safely? And right now, in this team fight, you've either stood way too aggressively, or you've stood way too safely.
Oh, Moog.
Soren?
Sorry. I thought I was muted.
Do you want to mute yourself now? Okay. 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 Anyway. I see the exact same thing happening here. Let's see if you spot the same mistake. Do you see it? Little hint, it's about your E.
I should have eat like into the rigor, I think.
Yes.
More like,
Again, you're pumping a lot of damage into the target that doesn't really care about it. Yes, the variant is at 40%. It is still really hard for your team to kill him. If his Rhaegar had been slowed, you would have been able to get another Q on him, and you would have been able to kill him. And again, you play like a chicken.
I probably could have killed both because of the snow cubes.
But here, you get onto the Hanzo, Varian at the 1% mana mark, Rhaegar at the 5% mana mark, Asmodan completely preoccupied with lasering your Artanis. What is going to threaten you if you step up to hit this Hanzo more?
I can't really like. I have no Q and he's going back.
You have a Q in 0.8 seconds, he has a slow on him. Because you auto-attacked him.
Yeah, I should have went for.
Instead, you go back, you go in, you go back. You take free Asmodan Q poke by sitting next to the Stitches. And you instantly spend your Q from the bush. So Rhaegar knows that you have no more mobility, so that's why it's kind of free for him to just see. Now again, this comes back down to don't spend your Q instantly. Because you instantly right-click, because you instantly right-click back, you can't respond to anything that happens. If Asmodan steps up more, you can't punish him.
I thought that Asmodan minion is gonna go for the
Rhaegar here.
He's gonna interrupt the thing.
Rhaegar here knows exactly where you are.
Yeah.
If you had still been in the bush, you wouldn't have been able to dash to you. Okay, Artanis is smoking it. But he dies for it. Still, holy crap, you've spent a lot of time here. And you end up dying. Why do you end up dying? Can you tell me?
I mean,
you miss your Q with 3 enemies here, and you go in. Previously, when you missed your Q with no enemies there to threaten you, you walk back. Now, with 3 enemies here, and only one 10% health ally with you, you go in. You see how that's really, really bad?
Yes.
Haka, you hear him. Varian, you auto-attack him again. You don't get a slow on him. You don't get healing. You walk into the Dahaka, not respecting that he could be there.
Yeah.
If you had backed off as soon as you missed your Q into 3 enemies, you would have been absolutely fine. Now for the completely other side of the equation. Because we've just looked at what you could have been doing in this team fight. Now, let's assume that we play out the entire team fight again. At this point, does the team still need you?
No.
You could be going out on the map. The Asmodan minion that you were scared of, you hit it, and then you stopped hitting it. And that was your excuse for going back? So, at this very point, there is already no more reason for you to be. But you go in because, go in, Storming. But you see that you could have already gone here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to get them back for that one.
So, you respawn. Where do you want to go?
I remember that I went for the camp that was already, that Artanis already starting taking, but...
Does Artanis need your help doing a camp?
No, he doesn't, but...
So
actually,
look
no
at the
idea where I
minimap.
should
What's
have
going
went.
on? Is top being soaked? Yes, there's a false stud.
Yes.
Is mid being soaked? No. Is bot being soaked? Maybe. Stitches
Stitches is going
seems to be
bottom,
heading there.
and like...
You don't know if he's
I thought-
actually going to go there, but this is how you need to look at the minimap if you just respawned. You only look at camps if the 3 waves are being soaked. That is your prerequisite for thinking about camps. So, where do you go?
But if I go, like, if I will be alone, middle, like, trying to... It's dangerous.
Is it dangerous? Varian's pushing in the wave for you.
I don't see anyone.
Varian is
Yeah,
pushing in
they're
the wave for
pushing.
you. You can chill here. Accept the XP at the gate.
Yeah.
This is going to be safe. Artanis can see any rotation to him if he gets rotated on. If you chill here, you can go help him. Stitches can take this at the gate, may not be taking it at the gate. If he doesn't, you can consider rotating here as well.
How about we capture this mercenary camp?
So, at the start of the
Yeah,
replay, you told me I was thinking about waves a lot. I was taking a lot of waves. Are you?
No.
You rotated
Yes.
away from a team fight where you had no impact to go take 1 wave. You are below your tank in XP. You have not been thinking about waves this game. And sure, the 2 camps you took were nice.
I'm gonna, like, raise.
Even Artanis says, get the fuck out of here. You're not doing anything here. Fucking Anduin takes the wave for you, steps up all the way here where you were scared to be attacked. Chad Anduin. So, we've ended up in the position where I wanted you to be in, except it's 10 seconds later. What do you want to do?
What?
Look at the minimap. What do you want to do? What are the things that you should be worried about?
I mean, I could stay
Alright,
middle and wait another, like, wave, but, like,
Let's
I can't
begin
go...
with how do you think about the minimap? List all of the heroes on the minimap and their locations.
The Hakatok, top variant, the Tasmatan middle, and Hanzo, and Hanzo was probably on the camp, and Rigger, I don't know where.
Okay. And on your team? What is
Faust
everyone
and
on your
top,
team doing? Let's put it that way.
Faust is soaking top, Stitches is pushing bottom, Artanis probably gonna go push with Stitches.
So, Stitches is pushing bottom. If you assume that someone is going to go to Stitches, would you be worried for his life?
No.
No? Okay. Now,
There's
instead
only
of just
Hanzo
looking
and
at the
Rigger
minimap,
that can...
let's do a very advanced step and look at what actually is happening there. Volstad is bullying the Haka. Stitches is hitting a gate. with very few minions. This is like, you know when you played in the tutorial? The very first tutorial with like Uther, like saying hello to Raynor? Like you had the Stitches who just killed himself on a fort gate? This is that Stitches, by the way. True story, but I put the bot in this game. But you aren't really going to be needed here after you hit the wave, right? Do you want to stay here for the rest of time? What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Like,
are you thinking about the next 30 seconds of the game at this point? I would say no.
Probably not.
You're just going to a random place. And sometimes it happens to work out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, like, those are like the worst moments for my brains to understand where I should go.
So, what do you want to do in mid then?
Soak, wave,
Soak.
probably.
Okay. So,
Like, wait for the Asmodan and Varian to kill
your
the
minions are here.
minions.
Where are their enemy minions? You know where they are because we're always the mirror of your minions. There are enemy minions here. All you have to do is one-shot this wave and you can be on your merry way, going to help Stitches if he gets ganked. You have no need to hit the Asmodan or the Varian here. Complete waste of time. You can go help Falstad.
Though.
You can go help Falstad in the top lane. You can go rotate with Anduin, with Artanis, go get a kill. There are many things you could be doing. And I'm going to assume you're going to end up poking Asmodan. No, you don't even clear the wave. You actually just stay mounted.
I'm scared.
Scared of what?
If of like Taunt and Rieger with Hanzo.
Gather tribute.
But I have
So
Anduin,
let's say
I
that
shouldn't
Varian
be
is in this
scared.
bush instead of going to tribute. If you approach the wave from here, you can always see him coming. You can Q him, you can get out.
Yeah, and then I also have Anduin with me.
And Anduin has a pull. Anduin is stepping up without you. If Anduin gets taunted, who's gonna bail him out?
No one.
No one. You want to step up to this wave. If you want to rotate to this tribute, you want to rotate there faster, not later than your opponent. So if your opponent clears the wave and they fuck off, you don't have to stand around for 15 seconds now. That's when you got here, 15 seconds ago. Doing fuck all, wasting both your time and my time in the replay review. So, we get the wave killed. You can mount up, you go somewhere. You see your Stitches rotating through the left side. Alright, he's actually going to go through the right side. Very nice. Actually, I'm gonna write it. You see two people bottom. This is completely safe. What? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Because every single time you press Q, you just go backwards. Always. You always dash backwards. Because you spend it instantly. You never take some time to evaluate what can I do with this dash? Is it safe to dash in? Should I dash out? What are the enemy throwing at me? Etc. Because right here, you see your Stitches gets attacked by a Rhaegar and a Varian. You Q the Varian, and you instantly dash out. Can you help your Stitches from this range?
No.
Can you peel for your Anduin from this range? Is anything going to kill you after the Rhaegar Z came out, after the Varian taunt came out, if you dash in?
No.
Is there anything threatening here? No. You've baited your team into rotating in, and then you said, screw you guys, I'm going home. This is terrible. Now you have to walk all the way back in, waste another empowered auto attack on the Varian, who literally could not give less of a fuck. 20 minutes later, you finally E the Rhaegar, and ultimately what happened? Anduin feels threatened, so he's walking all the way back. Stitches popped his trait for absolutely nothing, popped his E for absolutely nothing, because you did not hit any enemy hero here for the entire duration of their gank. You could have just turned this around on them, started hitting them, and retreated as soon as you hear the Haka bush sound. But instead, you do absolutely nothing. And that is becoming a little bit of a trend, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the relief, healer.
Stitches tries for a hook, doesn't work. And this is fine. Now you find yourself back in mid with a minion wave. So you go away.
That enemies are gonna go.
So what has changed in this situation since the last time you were here? You're going back into the exact same situation you just ran away from. What has changed?
Except they don't have a Rhaegar.
They don't have a Rhaegar. Oh no. Was the Rhaegar essential for killing you?
No.
For threatening you away? Have you done anything here? No.
Talent? I'd say.
And now you're scared to hit the wave when Stitches is stepping up for you again. Stitches takes the time to step up into the wave and wall for you. What do? You run away. You have the wave clear. You are the DPS here. You should help your team when they step up clearing the wave instead of being scared of the hypothetical variant here who's going to kill your Falstad top. Mm-hmm. Look how much time Stitches is wasting right-clicking minions because you don't want to press E from 10 million miles away. If Stitches has pressed W on the wave, you don't even need to W the wave yourself, which is what you're so scared of. Mm-hmm. You could have been on this camp already. Because you did absolutely nothing except walk around here. You could have instantly rotated to this camp. Or you could have helped clear the camp instantly. Stitches could have gone with you to the camp. Or you could have rotated bottom. Or you could have thought about an invade. Or you could have scouted this bush with an E, for example. See that they weren't there. Ping on Falstad, because where else would they be? You're just going through the motions and you're not thinking about what you're doing, what the enemy team is doing.
That's impressive.
And even after Stitches pings the camp, you don't go there. What is going through your head right now? Except right click on mount. I like, sure, Stitches ends up like taking crap ton damage. 2 ults get wasted. Whatever, doesn't matter. Maybe Stitches even dies. Like, Artanis has better map awareness than you, and he's AFK split pushing in bot lane. You know, stereotypical AFK split push Artanis is doing more in this game than you. Ay. So, we finally get the camp. Do we do anything with the camp?
We're on our way to win.
Let's see. We missed 3... Maybe 4? No.
Something
Yes.
bad's about to happen.
We missed 3 minions for that camp, which already makes it a lot less worth. Again, because we're rotating here so late. And the camp takes up a little bit of Rhaegar's time. Maybe it actually ends up doing something. Nope. Ends up doing nothing. So we find ourselves back at the mythical team fight. And I hope you do something this time. So.
There's gonna be a very questionable moment in this team fight.
So.
That I'm not sure if I should have done.
Falstad pushed in top. Got all the XP. Rotated back, is flying in. You've wasted a bunch of your time at Mist Soak. Artanis got a gate and almost saved Stitches. Do you see that I think you are the reason you are not winning this game?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, Stitches is stepping up, and what do? If Stitches gets a hook here, can you do anything on it?
No.
If Stitches had Bile and he went in, could you do anything on it?
Mm-mm.
If Stitches gets dragged, can you help him?
No.
Can you tell me the net result of what you're doing right now?
Nothing.
Nothing! Stitches steps all the way back because you are so far back. Artanis is zoned out from their team because the entire team is now so far back, because you were so far back, because Falsa didn't want to step up, because Stitches is stepping back, because you're stepping back.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still on your mount, doing nothing. Missing your Q as soon as you dismount, doing a net 0 damage to Vivarian because he has protected. Mm-hmm. When you finally choose to dismount, you're not even doing anything with it. You could have been poking for a long ass time. So, this positioning is good. From Anduin, not from you, by the way. You want to be roughly where the Anduin is. Mm-hmm. Stitches is stepping a little too far back for my taste because, you know, Artanis and Orphea are here for him. But that's nothing you can do about. But you decide to GTFO completely when the enemy doesn't even see that you're here. And if they go on you, Anduin has a bailout, Stitches has a bailout, and Artanis can swap onto people and blind them. So why do you need to go all the way back? Artanis gets scouted out and has no more allies with him because you stepped away. Mm-hmm. Falstad gets taunted and he gets dragged. Is there anything you can do to help your Falstad?
I can use Feast to zone
Yes.
someone away.
So why don't you? It takes you so long to feast that the drag is over and everyone's already stepped out. If you want to use feast as zoning, you have to be quick with it. You can't take more time than my dead grandma to use it. So Artanis feels threatened, so he uses ult. And you're still not in a position to help him. You are consistently, as a hero, with 2 dashes, taking the talent that gives you bonus health, with an Anduin to pull you out from any situation, the most back, the person that is most back in every team fight, against a team that has a really hard time threatening you outside of 2 specific cooldowns. And even when they use those cooldowns, you don't step up. So again, your E is really late and on the wrong targets. You missed your Q because they didn't have any slows on them. And finally we get something happening. However, now that they no longer have the Haka to threaten you with drag, the Varian is on the Artanis. Anduin is gonna get zoned out by these minions. Are you gonna do anything now? Can you do anything now? That's the first question we should ask. Can you do something now?
Should have. I just go into Asmodon and Hanzo.
Mm-hmm. So you go hit the Asmodon minions, and the enemy gets to reposition for free while they poke you.
And like, I'm not sure if I should have done this. Like,
now you rotate to the wave.
Camp.
Now you rotate to the wave. When you knew it was going to be threatening, 50 seconds ago.
Yeah.
That is when this camp was taken. 50 seconds ago. Mm-hmm. So, especially with the information that they had taken Bruiser Camp and you had not, but this was going to be threatening, was it a very good idea to play super passive in this team fight?
Yeah. I mean, no. Yeah, I should have like be aggressive to end the fight faster.
Yeah. That is why I absolutely hate this call. Because if you're going to play a poke war for ages and leave your team when they get low, you're actively griefing your team. And I agree with Stitches that, what are you doing? If you wanted to respond to this, you should have responded to it before it took your gate. And you should have, of course. But now, you've both done nothing in the team fight, baited your team to go in, gone to mid, almost baited your team to die, forced your team off of the objective, and not cleared this up. So you've done a lot of half stuff, and you've ended up doing
Nothing.
nothing.
I must retreat.
Okay, some aggression.
Ask me where they go when they
Finally. And now, I don't mind this. Why? Because you got a kill. This is a 4v4. But you should have cleaned this up in the first place.
choose a talent.
Also, just use your E. You're wasting some of your time. So, take another wave. I like it. I would be picking a retreat on my team here at this point, because there is no point to what they're doing. Instead, you rotate to them. Now, at the point that you start making this rotation, so you've cleared mid. And when do you start rotating? You start rotating now. At this point, do you think this team fight will still be ongoing by the time you've traversed all this area?
Probably not.
So what is the thing that you can do that has instant impact on this team fight? It's a button on your keyboard, and it makes something pop up on your allies' screens.
Yeah, I should have pinged them for retreat and probably go.
Exactly. Ping retreat here, ping on your way to say top, ping on your way to mid, and your team. Some neurons may activate in their brains and make them go, we're not 5. Which may cause them to reconsider, maybe not. But,
We have an advantage, a level advantage though.
and? So let's see how this shapes up. Do you kill anyone?
We don't.
Alright, you've come to the team fight. Let's see your grand impact. I've yet to see it. Oh, you're retreating. Was there a point to coming in?
No.
Would this wave have done more?
Yes.
Would this wave have done more?
Yes.
Would this have done more?
Probably yes.
No, stop doing camps as
No,
Orphea.
Yeah.
Trick question. Oh, that's a nice hook. Shame you...
Yeah, I was too late to follow.
So, specifically with Stitches, let me go off on a tangent. As soon as you see Stitches throw out a hook, it is very free for someone like Orphea to just throw her E onto the hook. If it
Yeah, I should just.
if it lands, you'll slow someone, you'll do heavy damage to someone. If it misses, you are going to be rotating anyway, and you're not going to be using your E for this rotation, especially because their entire team is here and not going to be able to catch you in rotation. And you should be walking to your Stitches anyway, because if he hits someone, you want to be using your Chaos, you want to be using your Q. But instead, you start going to the Stitches after he lands his Q, and now your rotation is delayed. For absolutely nothing. So while Stitches landed a really good Q, you pretended he never threw Q in the first place. This is fine, this is a very dangerous wave, just let's not push it in. I agree with it this time. Why are you so averse to using your E for fast wave clear?
I mean, DW clears it anyway in the same, like, with the same speed.
No, because you don't trigger your 15%. The reason this wave gets cleared from DW...
one shot.
Still. Good. Standing behind your Artanis. Artanis is too scared to rotate, so you go the 4-way around. Ah yeah, he takes this way in. This is fine. Now, as soon as you get into this team fight, you see the situation. Stitches is getting engaged on, Stitches is getting Anduin ulted. So, Varian commits with a taunt. And you can better believe that MindHawk is going to commit with his ult. You're over here, and it won't show me the cast range of your ult, but it should be right around the center can be placed here.
I think it's further. I think it's like almost near Asmodon. Maybe a little, like.
So why?
Definitely where Hanzo is.
Why haven't you casted your ult yet?
Yeah, I should have casted it like fast.
If an enemy engages on someone, like the Stitches, Stitches is going to survive anyway. I'm very certain of that. Just throwing your ult onto their team, either Varian is going to have to burn his W to get through it, use a lot of cooldowns, Hawkeye is going to be zoned from here, Stitches is going to feel comfortable staying in there, Varian's going to have to go away, Sprigger's going to have to go away. Ulting right here on their engage is going to do so much, as well as throwing E to slow them into it. But you only E, and you use the Eternal Feast 2 seconds later. Now 2 seconds later isn't that much later, but you can see how their team is already positioned completely differently. Varian's a tank and a lot of it anyway. You see he's protected. Why do you cast your Q? You see he's gonna be wanting to walk to the left because that's where his team is. Why do you walk to the right? Walking downwards is safe. Walking left is gonna body block him. Walking right is the illusion of safety. This is away from all of your teammates.
Yeah.
This is literally the worst position you can run to because it denies you hitting Varian, it denies you safety, it denies you going towards your team. Don't go towards your side of the map just because it's your side of the map if you're feeling threatened.
And also I'm forcing Anduin.
So your team ended up doing very well, but again, I would say a lot of this came down to your team doing the right thing, not you. So you get a curse, you go soak, you don't inform your team that you're soaking out. Here, Stitches goes bottom, therefore pings retreat on the Falstad. To let Falstad activate his neurons and think, Stitches tells me to retreat because he's not with me. Big brain Stitches. So we end up auto-attacking Fort. Doesn't do a lot. You could have stayed here, soaked this, stop Varian from pushing in. Is anything actually gonna happen here? No.
I think I could have, like, I wanted to try to fight with them here, because I think, like, there's not much they could have done to me.
That's impressive. I guess they'll have to go on without that force.
Nothing ended up happening anyway. Alright, let's go a little further. They're forcing the camp. Orphea can do it really easily with Eternal Feast on here. So you kind of want to save Eternal Feast for that. Why not?
Yeah, well, they started fighting me.
So remember at the start of the game where I was complaining about you not going in?
Mm-hmm.
This is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Why are you this far in? Why are you trying to force these kills on this? If you just force the camp, their team either has to let it go, or they engage your team instead of forcing the engage on their terms, with their towers, with this fort almost hitting you, with safety being so close, with a tap being right there for them. So, this is still fine, even though I think there is no reason for you to be this far back. Because, look at what your Stitches does. Your Stitches gets a Rhaegar, also hits him, does a lot of damage. You get your E on the Rhaegar, do a lot of damage. But what do you do?
I should have dashed forward.
Because you always instantly dash, you do not have the discipline to not dash. You can never make decisions on the fly where to go. You always end up going in the position, in the direction where you did not actually want to be on further inspection. If you had auto-attacked this Rhaegar once, if you queued in, you would be dead. This teamfight ends up looking very differently. If you ping the camp, this teamfight ends up looking very differently as well. So you have to burn all of your cooldowns to burn the Aspen demons, and you go in after he has it protected, after he has his entire team with him. This makes absolutely no sense. So Stitches gets pulled out, you also have to walk back. But you end up forcing yourself to be split from your teammates. You could have easily just gone towards your teammates instead of forcing this split. Still, it's fine. The boss was pushing during this time. And now your team forces the camp without Eternal Feast. You know, if they come, you can't just force it. This push, I would just be pinging retreat on it, but okay, I like this. Stitches using his health pool, very nice. The force an arrow engage doesn't work.
I must retreat.
You go for camps because nothing is safe to soak, that's completely fine. Your team is face checking bushes, very good. Stitches is leading the charge, very good. Do you help Stitches in the wave clear? No. If you were here already, instead of having to walk all the way around here, Vista Haka wouldn't be nearly as threatening to this Stitches. I'm gonna guess that Falstaff is gonna die here, because he's so split. But this This wave would have been cleared ages ago if you just throw an E on here, by the way. But ultimately, I don't hate the position that you get into. Except you go all the way up here, so you can literally not help your team at all. Stitches gets ulted, goes in. You don't Q someone who was slowed, you don't wait for the stun to hit, so you miss the Q, because you're so far back. You end up accidentally killing the banner with double one. So you get pulled out, that's fine. And then you instantly W back.
That was probably like I was spamming it when I was in the stand.
Well, there isn't any threat. If he drags you, what's going to kill you?
Nothing really.
So, Artanis, not in the fight, but he blinds everyone. Are you able to make use of this blind? No, you just W'd out. So, Fawcett ends up dying because he's alone on the left side for so long. And what have you actually done here? Nothing. And then your entire team gets wiped because Hanzo gets a very nice arrow.
Don't tell anyone I saw them.
And of course, we blame the guy who wasn't there. But this wasn't a 4v5. This was a 3v5. Would you agree?
And try again.
Yeah.
So, they end up getting a lot of structures.
Kinda like
Completely fine. Game goes on for another 3 minutes before you get wiped again and die. Probably
We're
with the
gonna
curse.
basically like lose one fight and then it's gonna be over.
So let's see, do you end up doing anything this fight? You poke the Hawk a little bit. Stitches makes a fuck ton of space. Goes in really hard with Bile. What do you and Falstad do? Yeah, funny the Hawka, man. Let's hit Dinosaur Man. Dinosaur Man instantly heals back to full with Essence, by the way. Did hitting him do anything at all? Now, let's see, what would happen if you go in with the Stitches? You Q with the Haka, you go in instead of out. You make that decision because you don't instantly Q out every single time. You can follow the Stitches. If you follow the Stitches, you can throw a Q, maybe an ult on the Hanzo that Stitches is forcing on really, really hard, creating so much space for your entire team to work with. If you do that, Hanzo at this point is dead. Stitches isn't nearly as threatened. Aspedan, you can just keep going on Aspedan. Spam Q, spam W along with his direction. Force him to get out of his corridor with Eternal Feast. You can do so much here. What are you actually doing? You hit Dinosaur Man a little, and you hit Varian a little. What have you done this team fight?
Nothing.
Your team is creating so much space, is trying to create so many opportunities for you to do what Orphea wants to do.
My curse upon you.
And you are not taking advantage of it in the slightest.
they wrecked your
And your team ends up wiping without you. You are the reason this game got lost.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That ended up taking 1.5 hours. Damn, I wanted to do a quick one. I hope that was useful to you. I know it was a little harsh, but I know you don't mind.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually crying that the Stitches lost that game.
the Stitches played so well. I really loved
Oh,
what he
yeah.
was doing.
And his build was also so good, and
He really deserved to win. Sadly,
such a heartbreaker.
the Orphea did not want to.
Unlucky.
And sure, we can look at a lot of other things and be like, oh, Falsehood's build sucked, and yeah, that's why you lost the game. No, you could have won this game. And that's the truth.
Thanks for the coaching.
Thank you for submitting your replay. Thank you for putting up with my analysis. I hope it's useful to you.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to seeing a slightly better grass in Stormlink next time. Thank you everyone for showing up, and that'll be it for today. See ya!
See ya.